the traditional approach for urban flood management has been the first part is very predominant in most of our, because whenever it comes to flood, there would be a separate department. Generally, it will be irrigation department or another water resources department, not typically a town planning department. Now, this has been, you construct drain, you do some dikes, you do, like if you have more money, like Japan, they're putting a lot of underground bunker to store water in that level. I was partly trained in Netherlands. They were building those days dikes to protect themselves. So those days they had a philosophy called keeping your feet dry. So keeping your feet dry means you put a bund. Higher the bund, you will be protected. But now they realize that philosophy doesn't work anymore because of the changing meteorological condition. So now they have adopted a new philosophy called making room for the river. So they are retracting and allowing things to go. The second is very popular, done by the municipal corporations. They clean up just before the rainfall, they will clean up the nalas, choked something. So there are certain amount of regular aspects of it. What has been largely being ignored, and also we as a professional planners, we also have not been, so what are the kind of spatial planning tools? When I say spatial planning, because it's a larger connotation, what I aim to mean is a statutory urban planning form, which is legalized by what I think Rajesh was mentioning in the morning. What is then the State Act? Because spatial planning means to multiple people many things, because European way of spatial planning is different than what we understand in India. So what I want to say is that in statutory planning and as an urban planner, what is our role? What are those tools? And this area I constantly see is very under-researched or under-attempted, because we end up, starting looking at what is the meteorological science are doing. But given the tools that are available to us, whether it is the building regulation, whether it is the what Jignesh was talking about, scales of planning, or what Srinivas was talking about, that what are the options that are available? These are typical engineering measures. This was taken from Singapore's way of, this was in 60s, 70s, the idea was to divert the water, make a series of drainage canal network. If some of you go to Netherlands, because that country is constantly sinking, so they have hundreds of kilometers of this canal network to divert the water from, when the flood water comes from this thing. This is what Tokyo does, because Tokyo, even Singapore Marina is doing now. They create an underground storage to access the water These are typical engineering measures. But now, realizing that there is a limitation, globally, cities are increasingly trying to explore what are those spatial planning tools available to them. And I think this is what I wanted to share with you with the August gathering of urban planners, town planners, that we need to focus, instead of really getting scared that climate is changing, world will collapse, and there is a code red warning. Let us explore that what are those tools, to what extent we can minimize our risk. There's a series of tools. There's also a series of fiscal instruments like insurance and other, which can also reduce our risk to. World Bank has recently realized, because World Bank and some of these banks, they have been very fond of engineering intervention. You buy more stormwater drain, you do something. But realizing this gravity of the situation, World Bank has recently come up. They're realizing that land is the one where you have to actually intervene. So this is the catchment, which is a catchment scale, which is what in Jignesh's term, it was a regional planning scale. What kind of intervention is required when the river is running? For example, if river in Sabarmati running for 400 kilometers, out of that 400 kilometers, only 10 kilometers in Ahmedabad. Or Tapi running for a few hundred kilometers, only 15 kilometers within city of Surat. So you need certain catchment intervention to do that. More importantly, you also need the urban scale intervention. And this is where I think many of the statutory plan, like whenever we are very fond of, because we keep coming to UP, we are very fond of GIS-based master plan, where I think we as a planner has to understand that what kind of interventions could be possible in that scale and in those kind of planning scale. And so if you